What up, guys? How you doing? Jason Heine here, Emulator Review, back at you with another video, and today we are doing another Hangin' with Heine, which is going to be a lot of fun because this Hangin' with Heine episode, I'm doing the question and answer section where on social media I ask you guys to ask me any question that you like, and I will go ahead and answer them. And last time I did it on Facebook and it went over very well, so now I'm doing it on Instagram. So all of my Instagram followers, guys, if you want to participate in this, you can follow me on Facebook. It's the Emulator Review. You can also follow me on Instagram. It is jason.heine. And I'm also on Twitter as the EMU Review. So let's go ahead and get right into it. First question here from our good friend Northern Spiral. He asks, what would you say is your least favorite video game song? You know, there's a lot to love about video game music, and we all know that. But there's also a ton of songs that just straight up suck. But one that stands out the most to me, so much in fact I wanted you guys to hear it, I pulled up a video of it. I mean, I think there's one in 1943. It's so shitty too, but the worst video game song ever that I've heard is without a doubt Crazy Bus. I mean, it's not even like a song. It's just sounds that are not even in tune with each other. They're not even in key together. They're just sounds put on top of each other and played over and over and looped. It's just the worst song ever. Crazy Bus, the title screen to Crazy Bus. Oh my god, shoot me. Next question comes from Qsangi765. You guys know I'm gonna butcher your name, so I'm sorry about that. He says, I'd like to know what you think of the Castlevania series. Do you have a favorite out of all of them? And what do you think is a better isometric racer, RC Pro-Am or Rock and Roll Racing? Oh boy. Okay. I love the Castlevania series. I'm partial to the earlier ones. My favorite would probably be the very first Castlevania. Hard as hell, yeah, and I can't get very far in it, but then again, I haven't played it in a long time, so maybe I should go back and give that a shot to see if I can get any further. But I will say I'm partial to that one because of the memories and nostalgia that I have tied onto it. I spent many days just watching my older brother play it, whereas, you know, it seemed crazy to me, and I just watched him play it. So I have very fond memories of that. And I really love the music in that game. Oh my gosh, I think it's probably one of my favorite of the series. So I would probably say the original Castlevania is pretty close to being my favorite. As far as your second question there, and the better isometric racer, they're both great, but they both are completely different. Well, in a way, of course, Rock and Roll Racing was a lot later, and it was on a completely different system. It was on the 16-bit systems, whereas RC Pro-Am was on the 8-bit system. So Rock and Roll Racing looks better, has better sound, better graphics, more customization, all that sort of thing. And RC Pro-Am is kind of just your good old-fashioned RC car down and dirty isometric racer, which I really love. So I don't know, I think it really depends on what you consider is better, because I don't really like that better word, because I think they do different things just differently. I'm real partial to RC Pro-Am, specifically RC Pro-Am 2. I think that's a much more of a game if you can get your hands on that. Kind of rare and kind of expensive to find, but if you can find that, pick that up. So I don't know. I mean, Rock and Roll Racing they also have weapons, great voice, excuse me, great voice talent, a great soundtrack from licensed music. I mean, it was way ahead of its time, and that's why it's a cult classic today, is because it did so many things correctly. So Rock and Roll Racing give you much more of a game, I think much more of an experience, but RC Pro-Am is going to be your good old-fashioned down and dirty RC racer, kind of bare bones, which I like a lot. And it's done by Rare. I mean, I can just hear the music in my head right now. Dun 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 dun. I love it. So yeah, there's that. Alright, next question is from N1 Clack Anime Nick. Oh, maybe Nick. Nick Anime. Nika Anime, I'm sorry. I should have a knife handy, and every time I butcher an name, I just start swinging it, just like... I don't know. Nick Anime, I think that's your name. Which is the better seafood, octopus or squid? Oh, so it's not even really a gaming question. Ew, neither. I don't really like seafood all that much. I know I'm from the Northwest and I should, all that sort of thing. But just good old-fashioned fish and chips from Ivar's, and you know, that's about it. So neither. Next question's from Bullet Bees. What's better, RC Pro-Am or Micro Machines on the NES? Wow, okay, so we got some RC Pro-Am themes going on up here. Ooh, gosh, you know, the same sort of thing applies, because I think Micro Machines gives you way more. And you know what? Micro Machines is great because it allows you to play in certain environments, whereas RC Pro-Am is just tracks, pretty small tracks, and the scale of Micro Machines is well, get this, the scale of Micro Machines is bigger. The maps are bigger, so kitchen tables, backyards, pool tables, all sorts of really unique and interesting environments that you can race on, and I like that a lot. I thought it brought a whole new dimension to that little car racer genre of games. So I don't know, I'd probably say Micro Machines. I mean, they continued on, you know, mind you. I know there's lots of, you know, little car racers and RC racers in today's world, but RC Pro-Am, which would be great to see a reboot, right? Wow, hey, how about that? But Micro Machines did keep going all the way through PlayStation, Nintendo 64, even onto the PC, Windows XP days. We did get one, V4, which is just a beautiful game. PS2 got it as well. One of the best in the business if you're going to play a Micro Machines game. So, yeah, I'd probably say if you're comparing the two, I'd probably say Micro Machines is much more of a game, and I think you'd have a better experience playing that. Next question's from Adam. He asked, you only have one system and 3 games to play for the rest of your life. What system and games would you choose? Oh, I hate these questions because it's so hard to choose. If I wasn't a collector, it'd be easy, right? I'd just be like, oh, Mario and Sonic. One system and 3 games. Come on, dude. That's rough. That's rough. Well, okay. Oh, can I just cop out? Can I cop out? You guys are all like, no. Can I? I take my PC. Oh, shit, I said it. I said it. I take my PC. No, I can't answer with that, even though I'd love to. So I would definitely take my Super Nintendo. I would have to, because I would have to take Donkey Kong Country. Hard. Man, that's hard to answer. I would take I think one of the best ports of the time on that console, and one of my favorite fighting games. I would have to take Killer Instinct or Mortal Kombat 2, one of those, and then I would have to take Star Fox. I'd like to take Mario, Super Mario World too, but those are. I'd take the Super Nintendo, and I'd take Donkey Kong Country. I would take Killer Instinct, and I would take Star Fox. Yeah, that's what it'd be. Okay, and then we got the next question here from LHFan04, IHFan04. He or she asked there, which console generation was your favorite? Ooh, it's tough, and I had to pull up my little cheat sheet here just to look at them all because it was so tough, because there's a certain area that I love. Now, I want to say I really love the 4th generation the most, because we had Genesis and Super Nintendo, Neo Geo, TurboGrafx. There's all sorts of amazing consoles happening there between 90 and 92. But honestly, I'm going to have to rule out and say the 5th generation. I think we had the most technological advancements in the 5th generation, and those were the years 94 through 97, and we had consoles like Jaguar, 3DO, 32X, Saturn, PlayStation, and Nintendo 64 all come out, and I owned majority of those during this time, and I am extremely partial to those. I think we had the most technological advancements happen during these years. We broke into full 3D worlds at this point. We broke into full, like, realistic, like, stereo sound, you know, from CD-based systems at this time, and we just getting onto a CD was a huge news, from cartridge to disc. So there was a lot going on at this time, and so yeah, I mean, we really were in the thick of the Sega Nintendo wars at this time. They were very, very much still active there. We had Sony coming into the picture, which was like Nintendo. It was Nintendo and Sega, and they were like battling it out. And then all of a sudden we had this like third strike, this third wheel come in with a knife from Sony, and just whoosh, like, oh, I'm part of this too. And it was like, oh my God, this trifecta is happening right now. It was very, very cool to live through that time. And just being around the birth and the hype of that Nintendo 64 was something I'll never forget. The hype was incredible during that, because they delayed it like an entire year, if not longer, I think. So they were building it up in Nintendo Power, and I was subscribed to Nintendo Power during these times, and we always would read about it. We couldn't get online and see it, so we would do that, and it was just an amazing time. So I would say that's probably going to be my answer there. The 5th generation is going to be my favorite. Next question, Metalli Maniac 87. What color boxers do you prefer to wear when gaming? Blue. All right, next question here is from YoshiFan333. He says, which Top Gear Rally theme on the N64 is better, the PAL or Japan or NTSC? You can find the music tracks from a website he gave me. Okay, yeah, well, you can just go on YouTube and look them up too. Personally, for me, it's the NTSC version. I think this is an amazing intro to a game. It's just like, for a racing game, it doesn't really fit, but in a way, it's so epic. Of course, this being a Midway game, I've always loved Midway, but it's just so epic. Yeah, I love that. Drums come in. Oh yeah. Definitely. I love that soundtrack. Pretty good game too. Alright, next question here is from our good friend George. He says, hey, Cool Jay, do you think Hyperkin or any other company will ever come out with a CD-based system, or do you think that the future holds nothing but emulation? I do think that we're going to see some disc-based consoles in the future. I really do. I think time has to play its cards, or run its course, rather. And I think that in time, we'll see that. We're going to see some sort of disc-based system that's probably going to load the data and then emulate it. You know, I think that's possible down the road. I really do. I think we're going to have a console that's going to do all-in-one like Hyperkin did with the Retron 5. I think we're going to see something where you can put any disc, or majority maybe from the, you know, 5th gen or whatever, 6th gen, and we can put those discs in, and then it will read them and play them and load them and emulate it. So I think it'll be kind of a hybrid, but I do think we'll see it in the future. I really hope so. We got a ton of disc-based games, don't we? So that would be really, really cool. He also adds, hey, we're also flowers, roses, or tulips. Yes, because my autocorrect here, I said, hey, Instagram. I want to say, hey, Instagram followers, but it autocorrected to flowers. So I thought everyone can be a flower today. All right, here, and then last question here from Wolfpack. It's the best racing game on the 360. Wow. That's tough, because you have to figure out what exactly you like with racing. Do you like arcade racer? Do you like simulation racer? There's a lot of different variables here. There's arcade racers, which are, you know, like Dirt. Well, that's kind of a hybrid. You know, Dirt series is really good. Flat Out Ultimate Carnage is a great arcade racer, probably one of the best. And then if you want a nice mix between simulation, you can always go with like a Forza. Any one of those are really good. I think I couldn't pick a favorite one, really. They're all really, really good, but Forza would probably be a great pick because it's unique to that platform. So you want to definitely check that out. It's like the Gran Turismo of the PS. So yeah, I would say that. And there's a lot of good ones. You know, there's a few Need for Speeds on there. Most Wanted is a great game. Of course, that's cross-platform too, but it is a fantastic game that plays really well and has great graphics, great sound, and it has an open world aspect to it. You know, not the greatest, but it sure is fun. So those would probably be what I'd recommend for you there.
Alright guys, and real quick here, I just want to say I'm sorry to my good friend 16-Bit Brothers. While editing here, I realized that I completely skipped over your question. I did not want to leave it out, so I'm coming in here in post and I'm adding this in. So sorry guys, but I'm going to get right to you here. So from our friend 16-Bit Brothers here, they ask, do you think Half-Life 3 is going to happen? I'm pretty worried at this point. Big question. I have no idea how I did not see it in my feed there. Gosh. I at first I've been worried about it. Like maybe a few years ago I was worried about it because I just felt like the hype was building, but it wasn't quite there yet. But I know that they're working on it. They have to be working on it. First of all, they left us, if you play the game, you know they left us with one of the biggest cliffhangers ever in a video game. So we're dealing with that. We're also dealing with Gabe, and we're dealing with Valve, we're dealing with Steam, we're dealing with the giant and the elephant in the room, one of the biggest digital distributors of content. And Valve is just hand over fist shoveling in money at this point. They don't need to make the game, but the thing is they have to make the game. There's so much hype behind it. There's so much revolving around it. I'm not worried about it, but I want to know how they're going to do it, because are they going to still use a source engine? You know, like they originally did? That is a great engine, but it's so old at this point. Will they come out with a new game engine and change it completely and piss everyone off? Or will they keep it on the source engine and piss everyone off? You know, it's like, I feel like the hype is so big. It's like Duke Forever. The hype was so much that it will never live up to its potential. And that's what worries me. That's what actually upsets me the most. Like, I was the guy that thought Duke was, I thought it was a fun game. I knew what I was getting into though. With Half-Life 3, I don't know. We're going to run into some serious issues. I think there's going to be so much hype, the game won't live up to it, and it's going to be catastrophic. But again, they are working on it. They have to be. And someday they will release it. That's my opinion.
All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. I really appreciate everyone who took the time here to write a question and follow me there on Instagram. It's been a lot of fun. The next place I'm going to do this is on Twitter. So hope you guys follow me there and be on the lookout for the next time that I post a Hangin' with Heine question and answer. And I'll make the rounds back onto Facebook after I do the Twitter. So making the circle, making the round. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again. You just got done hanging out with Heine, by the way.